Chapter 1. Something wrong with quiet. You ever notice how a house has its own kind of sound? Not talking about the obvious stuff like creaky floors or humming fridges. I mean that background feeling, like a kind of hush that isn't empty. Like the house is listening too. Jamie did. He was 13, and he hated moving. His parents had dragged him to some old house out in the middle of nowhere because it was a good deal, which of course usually meant something was wrong with it. He just didn't know what yet. From the outside, the place looked okay. Kinda boring. Gray bricks, overgrown bushes, windows that seemed a little too reflective. But whatever. It wasn't haunted or falling apart. Not yet. Inside was where things got weird. The first thing Jamie noticed was the quiet. Not the usual moving boxes and parents yelling at each other in the background kind of quiet. This was different. He was standing in the hallway upstairs, and when he spoke, "Hello?" His voice sounded like it got swallowed. No echo, no bounce, just gone. He tried again. "Mom?" Gone. Downstairs, he heard her answer like normal, clear as day, but up here? It was like sound didn't want to exist. Jamie didn't like it. He started avoiding that hallway. But the silence didn't stay put. Chapter 2. The vents whisper back. A few nights later, Jamie was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling when he heard it. A voice. No. Whispers. Sliding out from the vent near his bed like warm breath. At first he thought it was the heater or maybe the wind, but it spoke. "Don't speak." Jamie sat up so fast he nearly fell out of bed. He stared at the vent. Nothing there. "Mom," he called. No answer. He tried again. "Ma." "Don't. It hears you." The voice came back, timidly, softer, worried, like it was afraid. Jamie froze. He pressed his ear closer to the vent. Nothing. He didn't sleep much that night. Chapter 3. Speak and it takes. Over the next week, Jamie learned a rule. Certain parts of the house didn't like noise. The upstairs hallway, the laundry room, the left side of the basement. In those places, even whispering felt wrong. His skin would crawl, and it always felt like someone, or something, was waiting just behind the wall. The whispers returned too. Every night, sometimes just breathing, sometimes warnings. Keep your voice inside. It remembers the sounds you give it. Each word feeds it. Jamie wanted to believe it was just dreams, stress, imagination. But then he forgot his best friend's name. He was doing math homework and tried to write a note about his old school. He remembered his friend's face, their jokes, how they used to sneak chips into class. But the name, gone. Like it had been pulled out of his head and buried. That night, the whispers came again. Not from the vent, from the wall behind his closet. Chapter 4. The hollow inside. Jamie didn't tell his parents. What was he supposed to say? "Hey, I think our house is stealing my thoughts when I talk too much?" Instead, he got quiet. He stopped talking in the weird parts of the house. Stopped talking about the weird parts too. And the house like that. The more silent Jamie stayed, the fewer whispers he heard. And when he did speak, when he had to, it was in short bursts, deliberate, careful, measured. But sometimes he slipped. Like the day he stubbed his toe and let out a loud "ow!" right in front of the laundry room. The silence roared back at him. A crashing, invisible wave of nothing that made his ears ring. And the next morning, He couldn't remember his favorite song. Not the words, not the melody, not even the artist. Like it had never existed at all. Chapter 5. Don't let it in. Jamie started writing things down. A notebook filled with names and memories and little drawings of things he liked. He was scared they might disappear too. One night, he had a dream, except it didn't feel like a dream. He was standing in the hallway, the quiet one, and the walls were breathing. Slow, heavy inhales, deep, wet exhales, like lungs behind wallpaper. Then, cracks. The plaster split, and fingers, not human, slid through. Long, dark, twitching things that reached for him. A whisper, "Stop speaking, or it'll wear your voice like a mask." Jamie woke up gasping, but no scream came out, because his voice was gone. Chapter 6. Hollow Boy. He couldn't speak, not even a whisper. His parents thought it was laryngitis or something. Took him to the doctor. Nothing wrong. Vocal cords looked fine. But Jamie knew what was happening. He watched the walls now, not just the hallway, all of them. They seemed to pulse when he walked by. Sometimes the silence would bend, like air warping with heat. And the whispers? They didn't whisper anymore. They mimicked. He'd hear his own voice calling from the vents. Not things he'd said, things he would never say. I miss the quiet. It feels better not to think. Let me in. It was learning to be him. Chapter 7. What's left of Jamie. One day, Jamie tried something. He stood in the quiet hallway, notebook in hand, and whispered, "I know you're there." No answer. Then louder, "You're stealing me." The silence cracked, just a little. The walls around him seemed to lean closer. He flipped his notebook open and held it tight. "You can't take this." The silence growled. Not a sound, a feeling, like thunder in your bones. "Take it back," he yelled, shaking the notebook. "Give it back." And then a sound, 100 voices all at once, shrieking through the vents, pouring out of the walls. Old words, lost songs, laughter, screams, echoes of everyone who'd ever lived there, who'd ever spoken there. And Jamie saw something. For just a second, in the reflection of a cracked photo frame. A figure. No eyes. No mouth. Just smooth skin where a face should be. And a hollow chest, open and echoing like a cave. Inside, something shimmered. Voices. His voice. Chapter 8. The Choice. When it ended, Jamie collapsed. He didn't get it all back. Not everything. But his voice, returned. And from then on, he knew the rules. He still lived in the house. He still walked the silent hallways. But he never spoke unless he had to. Because the thing behind the walls, it was still hungry. It had learned his shape, his voice, and if he wasn't careful, one day, he might hear his parents answering to a version of him that never left the vents.